Hi, it's Cindy Morris with the Peoria Public Schools Foundation. Welcome to Buzz Chats. Buzz Chats was started in the beginning of the pandemic as a way to connect friends and those connected with the school district in positive conversations that you might find interesting. And the Peoria Public Schools Foundation, we exist to exclusively support our Peoria Public Schools. And I have an awesome team, and that includes our staff and board members. I have to give a shout out tonight. I haven't done this lately. My team, we got together and talked about doing this in the beginning, and they're big supporters of this, and we think of people who are interesting to bring on the show. And Trish O'Shaughnessy, I give a big kudos to her. She's kind of our program manager for this show. So thank you, Trish. You're awesome. And the Peoria Public Schools, we support the school district in various ways. Traditional ways like classroom grants for teachers, scholarships for students, mostly seniors going to college, and then programming. We oversee the Adopt a School program and created our Horizons Career and College Readiness program. And then we do a lot of basic needs support, which includes uniforms and clothes for students, our little free pantries, snack pack programming. Those are just some of the ways that we support the school district, and we're so proud to be able to do that. Tonight, our guest, very excited to have a friend of mine now after working together, and just I look to her a lot, and I respect her so much for her work and her passion in her job. But I will let Beth Crider, welcome.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
I will let Beth, you go ahead and give your nutshell of your job and kind of your path to where you are today. So again, welcome.
Thank you so much. And it's so impressive. I've been watching your Buzz Chats, and what a great pivot in the pandemic. I think this is a great way to make connections when it's hard to be together. So thank you for the invitation. And I am one of those people that I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up in second grade. That just doesn't happen very much. And I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Never changed my mind, never changed my major. Went to ISU to become a kindergarten teacher and did that for 17 years for Peoria Public Schools. Served all that time at Valeska Hinton. So shout out. I know there's a lot of Valeska Hinton teachers out there on Facebook land. That's where my heart is. But this opportunity came along where Dr. Gerald M. Brookhart, the one and only GMB, invited me to be the assistant regional superintendent to serve with him until he retired. And that's just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So I stepped into this role and have now been elected twice to continue the work as the regional superintendent. And people ask me all the time, what's the difference? Beth, do you like it? Do you miss the classroom? And I say, well, it's still kindergarten. It's just bigger bodies, and be nice and use your words and don't hit. So the same strategies all still work. But yeah, and so I just have an opportunity to serve in a larger capacity than the kindergarten classroom. And I really enjoy that.
So for just the average person, what is your job responsibility?
When you hear elected, you think, wow, she must make a bunch of rules and a bunch of policies. And I don't. It's really an interesting middle ground position where I get to support the Illinois State Board of Education and what it looks like locally. So I have 18 school districts here in Peoria County that I support. And the way I support them, our mission is service. So we serve them by running preschool for all programming, GED programming, truancy support, homeless liaison. We have professional learning. So there's lots of different arms of our office, but we are written into school code. So there's all these laws that we implement here at the local level on behalf of the Illinois State Board of Education.
Great. What ways are educational challenges created by the pandemic being addressed this summer and next year?
Where do I even start? As having to invent and change and rethink things with your buzz chats, we were told that within 48 hours, we needed to change the entire educational system. Mm-hmm. And since that time, we've had to practice the pause. And in that pause, we've had time to really think, what is education for? What's been working? What's not working? What do we want to still do? What do we want to not do anymore? What do we want to try? There has never been an opportunity like this in my lifetime, and I don't know about any other educators either, to really say, what do we want to do differently? Mm-hmm. Because I will tell you, Cindy, if we go back to normal, then we have missed the entire opportunity and the lesson that the pandemic provided us. I can't even remote learning. So let's start with today was very significant. The state of Illinois released a new return to education guide. It is an almost 200-page document with tips, suggestions, case studies, research of all the new things that we could do moving through the summer and into next school year to address some of the gaps that occurred over the pandemic. What are we going to do about unfinished learning? How are we going to measure it? What are we going to do about it? Some need more than others. What about the mental health issues? There's an entire section of this new guide about how to support students. We all need that support. So there's a lot in there of what we can do with those things. And if we don't take the time to really embrace that, rethink some of our strategies, then it just feels like it was all for nothing. So I have encouraged my staff that we are going to be serving our districts by igniting, inspiring, and innovating. We're going to be out front. We're going to try to lead some of this work so that we don't lose some of the lessons of the pandemic.
That's great. What changes do you anticipate we will see at the local level directed by the new administration and the new Secretary of Education?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. So I will say this. A lot of our local administrators, myself included, were really hoping that we could have another year with a waiver where we didn't do some of this heavy-handed testing. Now is a time for supporting our students, supporting their mental health, supporting their transition back to full-time face-to-face instruction. And we don't want to waste one single second of that time practicing for a test. So I will be honest, I was disappointed that we're not going to get that waiver. However, it's not high stakes. We're supposed to use that information to help guide our instruction and to plan out for next year. But as far as moving forward, $7.5 billion are coming to education. Mm-hmm. So you have the opportunity, that's just in the state of Illinois. Mm-hmm. So you have the opportunity and the lessons of the pandemic coming with resources that we've never seen. I've never seen those kind of resources in my career, and I don't think I ever will see it again. So what do you take and how do you put those things together and strategically think about how we can change education for the better? Because it hasn't been working for everyone. And now is our chance to do some new things.
So I'm going to add a personal question here. I usually add a couple in. If you could pick one place in Peoria that this is just a place, it could be anywhere, that makes you happy, that is a kind of a peaceful place, a zenful place, what does that for you in Peoria?
Robinson Park. If you've never been there, when you park in the parking lot, it reminds you of several parks in Peoria, but then you start to wind down to the trails and the steep hills, and it's just not like anything else. And my husband and I love to hike that and get sweaty and dirty and out of breath and climbing. And it's just, there's nowhere else you can do that in Peoria like that. I love the Rock Island Trail. I love Detweiler. I love all of the different parks, but that one in particular is special.
I met today with Trish O'Shaughnessy, and I met with Emily Cahill today, and we were talking about a few things. And one thing I told her, I don't know if you'd seen on the Park District Facebook, they listed all the parks in Peoria. And you have to look at it if you haven't, because the Park District has so many parks on that list that I'd never heard of. And it was just, I was blown away because you mentioned some, and for myself, I'm, since the pandemic, I'm like fallen totally in love with the Rock Island Trail on my bike. But one of my hidden gem parks in Peoria is Endress Park. Right by there, it's kind of right off of Knoxville, and it's in a neighborhood, but it's just a real quiet little hidden park that a lot of people don't know about. And I was telling Emily that go take a look at that list the Park District has put out recently. It's really cool to see how many parks there are in Peoria. And I don't know if I've been to Robinson Park. Where is that near? What?
It's way off of Knoxville. You turn at St. Jude. And so way back in there. And as a matter of fact, the trails all connect through to Detweiler. There is a 100-mile race apparently that goes through there where you run back and forth. It's spectacular. It is a great hike, and you have to be ready to get a little out of breath. It's a good one. And just our opportunities to be outdoor in our community are outstanding. And that is one of the things that we need to infuse more into education. We have an amazing asset with our park district here in the county, and we need to take advantage of that.
Yes. And we're excited. Like I said, we met this today, and we're going to collaborate some more because it's such an asset for our community. What are some new programs or changes in education that you are most looking forward to or think will have the biggest impact?
My office is partnering with Lurie's Children's Hospital out of Chicago because they are the experts. They have the Center for Childhood Resiliency because trauma is impacting our students on a daily basis. Prior to the pandemic, it was already at epic proportions, but the pandemic now has given us a collective trauma. And trauma is something that affects brain development, and it resides in the body. And you have to metabolize that, and it needs support. And so partnering with Lurie's Children's Hospital is something I am so excited to bring, not just to Peoria County, but that is statewide, that is run through my office, that teaches educators, administrators, non-counseling therapeutic type professionals how to support children that have experienced trauma. And I think that's incredibly important, especially after we come out of this pandemic. We're going to need some tips, some skills to be there for our kids.
Right. I'm going to say a name of someone and tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say this person's name. And
this is fun.
A lot of people will probably know this person, but I know this person has a special place in your heart. But what do you think of when I say the name Val Ray?
Val is my kindred spirit because early childhood teachers, we met 25 years ago at Valeska Hinton, had children together, and they're your teaching wife. They're your teaching partner, your teaching sister. And so that is someone that I know has my back and that understands me in a way that only another early childhood teacher can, because we're crazy.
Yeah. Let's see. What are some things you're looking forward to now that we are opening up more? Even though I know we talked before we got on air, that there are some spikes, and I think some of it has to do with St. Patty's Day and other things. But kind of the hopeful side of what are you looking forward to? Let's say for this summer personally, things that are going to be opening up. What are you looking forward to?
I'd like to answer that two ways. Let me hit the professional thing first. I have tried to be very careful during this pandemic because school to me is not necessarily what happens in that brick building, right? It's all the things that school is. It's a football game, it's a dance, it's the chess team, it's the clubs, it's all the things that school is. And we need to get our students out in the community. And all of that has come to a standstill: work-based learning, apprenticeships, internships. So I'm trying to do my part because we need all of those things to go back to school. And then personally, my baby's getting married this summer. I know I don't look that old, but I have my 23-year-old is getting married, and she has the wedding of her dreams. And anyone that has gone through this, you've been through this.
Yeah.
You have one plan in mind, and that may not be the way it turns out. So we're still in a waiting pattern to see how that will play out. But however it works, we're just excited about that. We're excited to welcome a new son into our family, and whether it's 50 people or 200 doesn't matter, but it's just, I'm really looking forward to that this summer, and the pandemic is definitely playing a role in that.
But you're definitely in a much better predicament than we were last summer.
Oh, no doubt. There's no doubt.
I think that I just think about, I mean, last summer, the devastation for students and, people getting married and graduations and all that. I mean, it just stopped. So yeah.
In the trauma of that, we're all grieving. My daughter graduated from college, and you know how I always say, I paid for that graduation. So the grief of that, it will be lifelong that I didn't get my daughter's college graduation or the wedding of their dreams. And that's something that we all are going to have to work through and process, because it wasn't just about me or you. That was everyone had something.
Yeah. That's the other part, so many things you say about the pandemic, these lessons learned, but in the beginning, just the not knowing was, I think, it was traumatic for everyone. And, when we were on that lockdown, I mean, it was like, that's, life altering. And, with the loss of life and the financial aspect for so many, but I think even more so is the well-being. It really shook so many people. And I know so many people that are in positions right now that I'm certain if it wasn't for the pandemic, they probably wouldn't be in the situation they're in. So it was hard times, definitely. But we try to focus on the positive. And I know you and I've talked about this before personally, but you have any summer plans? I know some of our staff and people I'm hearing, travel is opening back up and people are excited. I know we're on school spring break now, but what are your summer plans?
I have a lot of plans. We will see how some of those all come together. One thing that I'm excited about is I did move over the pandemic. I mean, that's crazy in and of itself, but nesting in my home and my outdoors part of my home, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to be able, now that my entire family is vaccinated, my dad just got his last shot this week, being able to spend lots of time with them, hoping to travel with my husband and spend a lot of time outdoors with him. And then, of course, the wedding. Then professionally, we're really hoping this summer to use a lot of our time to build structures and supports for our districts and our students so that they're ready to come back to school face to face in a new school year. That's going to be a big lift. And so we want to be there to serve them and what they need. So we're working on that as well.
What are some of your hobbies?
Well, I'm a runner and I used to run every day, but my old lady parts don't let me run as much as I used to. So today was a walking day in
Yeah.
25-degree weather, can I say, with frost on the ground.
Yeah.
And when I run, I listen to books. So I love, love, love my Audible books and I read all kinds of different things. And other than that, my hobby is school. I that's what I do. That's what I've always wanted to do. And so that's what I spend my time doing. And I consider that an outgrowth. I go to sports activities with my husband now, and that is a joy. So it is school and I love to run.
Okay, your favorite restaurant in Peoria?
My favorite restaurant in Peoria. I have favorite foods. So my favorite salmon salad is at Sugar. My favorite tacos, so I have several locations for that. I love the Public House. We love Jim's Bistro, wherever. There's so many different places we love to visit. We did Slay quite often over the pandemic. Delicious. So some of those are some of our favorites.
I've brought this up before. I'm a big saying person. What if you had like a favorite saying? Is there one that sticks out that like you've always kind of inspires you and maybe would inspire other people?
Oh gosh, I have so many of those. And the only ones that come to mind have the word taco in them because I brought that up, but now I'm thinking about tacos.
Mine is
tough.
And I kind of made it up myself, I think. I mean, I don't think I've gotten this from anywhere, but I say it all the time. The more you do, the more you get asked to do. The more you give, the more you get asked to give. So keep doing and keep giving. So I kind of made that up, but it's true.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And I really follow a lot of the work of Simon Sinek. So the question I'm always asking my staff and myself is, what is your why? And I'm always asking that in all different parts of my world, my family, my job, my hobbies, whatever it is. What is my why? Why am I doing this? Most definitely. Oh, I just love Cindy. That's great. You need to put that on a card.
Yeah. Well, did you have any other things you'd like to chat about tonight? It could be anything about your job or kind of your path. Any Valeska stories you want to tell? Or I know you were there for a very long time.
One of the things I miss about Valeska Hinton is that when you're in the classroom, one of the tangible benefits of teaching, because it's not necessarily the paycheck, is that you get the experience with the kids. And so I see those kids. I am friends with kids on Facebook that I had in my classroom. Wow. They're now in their 30s. I'm a grandma. Some of my kids have had children, and that is the reward. And when you're an administrator, I like to tell people that I'm a professional coffee drinker. So it's not that same reward. So I will tell you, Cindy, one thing I'm looking forward to doing in my retirement is figuring out how to get back to the classroom. I still think I have a lot to give. I love being around young children. I teach Sunday school. And I just love being around young kids. And so I'm hoping that I will get that opportunity at the end of my career because it's just something that I miss. I look forward to that.
Yeah. And we do. We have so many wonderful teachers in our school district. So many still that are, Val is still in the classroom. Your friend Whitney, those are teachers that you taught with. I heard a story today, actually, when I was meeting with Emily and Trish and Brent Wheeler. There was someone that passed and said that she taught with my sister at Thomas Jefferson. And he said, your sister is such a great teacher. I watched her get on, the ground with the students and tell a student she was beautiful. And yeah, my sister is definitely one of my inspirations. Just watching her in the classroom, I'll never forget. when I was in my banking career life, she taught at Kingman School, and I would go down quite a bit and go in her classroom and read to students and things like that. And what a great job.
It's the best job.
Yeah.
And I love the way you describe your sister and the way she comes alive in the classroom and what a joy that is, because it just, school can be a magical place. It's the one thing that we all have in common. We've experienced school, and you can think back and you can think of those teachers that inspired you and gave you life and sent you on a certain path, a coach. But school can also have the other side as well. And we really work on that, because I gave a talk once in church where I actually said, if school ever hurt you, I'm sorry. And so it's just something that is continuing to change and evolve. And that's what I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of where can we go next, because it hasn't served everyone. And I want to be able to be a part of that change.
Yeah. Do you have a teacher that inspired you, like one that sticks?
Mr. Lowry, junior year, first time that my high school tried an honors type class. I took honors US history, and I was one of the only females. There were 2 of us in that class. And the final of that class was discuss the Civil War. That was it. That was the only question. And he brought in different resources for us to consider, and it wasn't just out of the textbook. And I always will say that he taught me to think. And later on, then when I became regional superintendent and I took over the regional board of school trustees, Mr. Lowry was on the regional board of school trustees. And I saw him and I'm like, hi, Mr. Lowry. And he remembered me. And it was just such an honor to be able to say to him, you inspired me to really think and think critically and to really dig deep. And I'm so grateful to have had that opportunity to say thank you.
I think I hear Mr. Dunphy.
You hear Mr. Dunphy. I told him I was doing this interview, but this is our life, Cindy. So he is on spring break and he has done football. Last night was soccer. He's got a mask tan from being in East St. Louis where he burned his face except for his mask when he was down on the sidelines with the football team, because he spends his time also, but it's a little bit of a different lens. But how can he say yes for kids to have opportunities? And so that's what he does. So I can hear him talking about the next game on the phone.
The one thing about my job and our work, I love being able to provide experiences and opportunities for students, and working with so many wonderful people over the last 11 years. And there's so many people that I truly do consider friends and people that make my life better. You're one of them. So
thank you.
I thank you for that. And you've been so supportive of the Peoria Public Schools Foundation, talking to our Horizons program, and you've been supportive of all of our events and everything. And so thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you for your work, because what you do on the foundation is that you are working really hard to support the whole child, because a healthy child that has everything that they need is a better learner. They can come to school and be ready for school. And the foundation really works hard to try to support some of those things, and it is appreciated. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, it's been great chatting tonight, and I hope that you have a wonderful evening, and thank you to all of our listeners, and we'll be back soon. I'm not sure who's lined up next, but I hope everyone has a great weather's supposed to be fantastic on Saturday and Sunday, so enjoy. And thanks again, Beth.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation.
Bye-bye.
Bye.